So let me say I want to thank the number of people here to make this event possible. Number one is the people from the museum that sponsored this event, making everything possible. And particularly Alex, we were in communication for many times for organizing this event. Then Lily Chen, as the chair of the board of directors, helped too. And I mentioned Diana Inocencio in designing a beautiful notice, postcards for distribution to people like you. So they are the ones to make this whole thing possible. And then the commentators make a very incisive and I'd say fairly complete comment on the book, saying all the good words, not one bad word. I am very grateful for these three commentators. Because of time, I will not comment on each one or respond to each one. I'm just simply saying I'm very grateful, and maybe on private occasions I will elaborate. Then the people like you. I didn't expect so many people here coming over here, sacrificing your Saturday afternoon, very precious one. So you give me so much encouragement that I maybe read another book. Let me share with you my thought about writing this book. It took me probably 6 years full-time to work on the book. I was so busy, and I just give you one illustration. I could not tie my shoelace at home. Where I tie it? At the intersection of the streets. So when I go golf, which is as important as writing a book, so I was so short of a time, I take the intersection, waiting for the green light, I tie my shoes. Not once, many times. And when I wash the dishes, my mind is on the book. So it takes so much time and effort, and to say nothing of going to Stanford 5 times on 5 different occasions and talking with many different people. That is no comparison of the time I spent at home. So I think what your response really justifies the kind of effort and sacrifices I made for this book. I'm grateful for that reason. Why I studied the subject, and this subject has been referred to by Professor Chiang for 2 fundamental reasons. One, these 2 leaders did one thing nobody else did. In 20th century world, there were the only 2 people governing 1/4 of humankind. For 50 years, you just think, in the whole 20th century, is there anyone doing that? The 2 people did. And how did they do it? And in those years, half a century, China was in war, revolution, famine, disasters, but they exercised the power of, say, from 650 million to almost 1 billion during their times. So that is really a mystery to a certain extent. As a student of political science, I'm curious, very interested, and that as a subject of study was something I had in mind before my retirement in 1994. But after 1994, I had many other engagements and didn't have a chance to do it. So I started roughly around 2006 to work on this book. Then also, as Professor Chiang mentioned, and Dami mentioned too, these two people really affected the life of all of us. Where we stay, where we moved to, while we came to the United States. There's no one as influential as these people. So that is a personal reason for getting into the subject. Then how to study the subject? The subject is very complex. You study two people over more than 50 years, and it's through a time period of Chinese history of turbulence, unprecedented. So it's a very complex subject. Then the two persons are very, very controversial. And you have to stand on your ground to assure some kind of objectivity. So I used the comparative approach. You know, the first thought went to my mind when I approached the subject, how to do it. I thought of a Chinese sort of saying, popular saying, 不怕不识货，又怕什么？就怕货比货。So you do a comparison, shopping, to get to know what you're going to buy. And I made a determination. I will sacrifice my opinions, my preferences, my values. I'll compare the two people to the extent that I can do it as objective as possible. And I think I did. I admit the great merit of Mao Zedong's competency in writing poems. Really, as Professor Chiang mentioned, it's superb in terms of language, thought, 画的时候，王国维说的意境 idealized scene, mixing nature with human world. That's very, very difficult. He did it. So I do admit that he has tremendous talent. And also, he defeated Chiang. Chiang's army of 4.5 million. Almost, he defeated in 3 years. Who can do that? Almost inhuman, impossible. So, I thought, okay. So I was thinking maybe we can use a fairly objective method to compare, and I see some merit of Chiang and Mao. And in the end, I try to identify their achievements and failures. And if you read the last chapter, you will find what kind of achievement, what kind of failures they have. Both are gigantic. And there were questions asked before today. How do you compare the two persons? Who has a great merit? Who has less? I will not do it right now. I'll let you do it. Okay? Because I want you to read the book, and I want your assessment. And Professor Chiang mentioned the one thing which I truly appreciate, because among the 40 or 50 people who reviewed the manuscript, only one professor, Professor Andrew Nathan of Columbia, made the same comment that Professor Chiang made. That is, Mao contributed enormously to the party, Communist Party, to the army, and to the government, but sacrificed the people in the end. And Chiang is in reverse. He's a failure. Hurt the national government, hurt the nationalist party, and hurt everything he loved, but he served the people because of the 1910and Taiwan miracle, Taiwan 的奇迹 really beneficial to people. The current political controversies aside, any man or woman of conscience cannot deny this particular merit of Chiang. So I find that Professor Chen can readily grasp that. This is really a surprise to me because among the 30, 40 people who reviewed the manuscript, the one a foreigner, Andrew Nathan, Li Anyo, some of you might have heard of him at Columbia, and he's the second one, and I appreciate that. But who is stronger, who is weaker, who is making more contribution to China than the next, I leave it up to you. So I want to thank you once more for your presence, for your encouragement, and for interest in buying the books. The books are sold for $15 a copy. That is a discount price for the author, including air freight. So it's at a cost. And I have made arrangement with Alex ahead of time. All the proceeds, all the copies sold are going to the museum. I do that for two reasons. One is the sponsorship of the museum. The other, the secondary, in sequence maybe, but I greatly admire Alex's contribution, sacrifice. And also, I don't know if Agnes is here. The couple really made a tremendous contribution financially, time-wise, planning, total dedication. I have never seen a couple like that. So my contribution of a few $100 is nothing compared to what they contribute to the San Diego community. Thank you again. I brought a copy for sale, and I selected 5 copies. Where's Jane? I selected 5 copies to invite you to make a written comments from 1 paragraph or anything longer. Okay? These 5 copies are free. Okay? So could anyone raise your hand so that 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's late. Over here. So those 5 copies are free, and I will write my names on it, okay? You don't think I need to speak Chinese once more, do you? Is that necessary? No, okay, thank you. Thank you very much.